Hello, all. This is Dr. Dave Maslach talking to you about reciprocity.com. The E is written with a 3. And in this particular video, I want to talk about getting postdoc positions or postdoc jobs. And this is probably going to be more relevant for people that are doing postdocs in business administration, whatever the particular field, strategy, finance, that kind of stuff. But it's going to be relevant for anybody that is thinking about doing postdoc positions in any of the sciences or any sort of academic sort of area, right? And the reason why I'm saying it's more relevant is because I'm a professor of innovation strategy and entrepreneurship at a business school. So I know that area a little bit more. It doesn't mean that any of this stuff doesn't apply for you. So what are postdoctoral positions? Basically, it's a bridge between when you actually finish your PhD and when you actually get your first academic job. It's kind of a no man's land sort of area where you just don't have the research publications just yet, but you're promising and you want to get into academia, so you need something like that. So from my perspective, there's two ways to get postdoc jobs. First one is you look for the actual positions that are being posted on sort of the job market stuff. And at least within business administration, I know in sciences, in most fields, they were very common for a long time, but at least within business administration, they became much more common after the financial crisis because of sort of shifts in the job market that happened at that moment, right? So now most major universities, things like Berkeley, University of Western Ontario, University of Southern Denmark, Harvard, any particular school. I know that there's actually postdoc programs there, and they have great postdocs that are at any of those particular institutions. And they're legitimate, right? And you apply to them there. So the problem is with those particular ways or that particular sort of way to get a postdoc position is that they're highly competitive to get into, and you're cold calling, right? Anytime that you cold call in any area, I've never really been successful with sort of cold calling. Sometimes it works, but a lot of times it doesn't work with getting into a particular position. The alternative way is to actually find people that you're doing research or that sort of understand your research and just ask them, right? So you're likely are sort of a moderate expert already. You finished your PhD or on your way to finishing your PhD. And so people probably know who you are, or can, there's somebody that's going to resonate with what you're doing. And then you just contact them. And if you're doing good research, you can just say, I really like what you're doing. So I'm a giant fan. Would it be okay if I come visit you at your particular institution? And you could just say, I will sort of, I'm going to pay for my own way, and I just want to come work with you for whatever reason. And this works sometimes, right? So it's going to work if they know who you are or they know who your supervisors are. They're at least going to help you out in some sort of way, right? So they're going to look for, they're going to help you out. They're either going to say no right away, or they're going to help you out. And the biggest reason what ends up happening, at least in my institution and other institutions, there's just not the support, institutional support. And I'm not saying like that in a negative way. It's just that there's no financial resources. So, what you can do, and I know of people that do this, and it's really highly effective, is that they just say, they contact somebody at, a major school, and they say, or somebody that's pretty famous, and they just say, can I come and just stay around your school for a bit? And so you just get an apartment for 4 months around that particular thing, and you just go in and work in the library, and then you just work with them, and then you just ask them if you could put that on your CV as you're doing a postdoc at that particular position. And that person has to ask their university, but generally it would be okay, right? And that's one way to sort of finagle your way into sort of a famous place, is you just basically show up at that institution. And you do that for free, right? You just show up at that particular institution. Now, sometimes what that will do, particularly if you're talented and you're a good worker and people like you, is that you can sometimes get a actual position doing that. Like maybe it's a postdoctoral position, or if you've lived there long enough and you just keep hounding them and people know who you are, like really know who you are, then that could sometimes turn into an academic position. That does happen a lot, believe it or not. So what are some benefits of actually getting a postdoctoral position? The first one, obviously, it buys you time so you can publish more research. So if you are not publishing and if you're not research sort of focused in any sort of way and you're not sort of making any progress, don't do a postdoc. I'm going to tell you that right now. That's financially bad sort of sense for you. But if you are making research progress and you're sort of doing one step upon the next, and you just need a little bit more time, a postdoc's going to help you on the job market because you can publish more research. So for me, I had a 350-page dissertation that was this big beast, but I had no papers, right? So I had to turn those into papers. I turned a couple of them into papers, and I had research revise and resubmits, which were good enough in my field because there's long cycle times in my field to get papers published. So it was good enough in my field to actually land, get a couple of interviews and stuff like that at some good institutions. And the one that I'm currently at right now, which is cool. And you can look up where I'm at. I'm not going to tell you who it is or where it is, but you can, if you're curious. So anyways, second thing is that you're going to get paid a little bit, and it varies dramatically, right? From free to if you get a prestigious postdoctoral fellowship to lots and lots of money if you get it from your national university. So in Canada, they had one that was like paying $75,000 a year, which is insane. I've heard of somebody getting like $90,000 a year if they taught a little bit. That's crazy, right? To get those kind of postdoctoral positions. And that's kind of obscene amounts of money after you've done graduate school, right? And it's nice to sort of have that sort of thing. So number 3 is that the biggest thing and this is why it's often really good to sort of do the free thing, is that you're sort of boosting the status of your CV. So you can signal, that big component with your CV is you're signaling to the outside world that you're actually a legitimate person. So if you've worked with somebody that is well known, or you're working at an institution that's well known, it's a strong signal to the job market that you're actually doing a very good job, and people are caring for you, and they are they understand what you're about. And that's a key thing to think about, is that sort of the increase in status that you're going to get from, going to a major research school someplace, and in the bonus that you're going to get, because it sort of removes that uncertainty that you're going to get, right? Like people are just uncertain with your ability until you actually have, that signal behind the scenes. And there's a whole sociology research sort of area about this, about the sociology of science. And then there's also, Michael Spence at the Harvard Business School kind of has a couple of papers on sort of signaling theory that sort of gets into some of these ideas. Not a Harvard Business, the Stanford Graduate School of Business. I would think he was the dean for a while. But anyways, he became very famous for these papers about signaling to the job market. And that's really what this is. It's a signal. Anyways, if you like this video, give me a thumbs up. I do appreciate it. And do subscribe to the YouTube channel. And if you want to know more about sort of postdocs and stuff like that, you could leave some comments. So anyways, take care. Have a good day. Bye.